Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with the final episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2. Last time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure we had the birth of a super being, where Cars was able to put on the stone mask with the red stone of Asia and absorb a lot of UV lights that were unfortunately fired by von Stroheim. And yeah, he is now immune to Hamon and to sunlight, and he is the ultimate perfect being. And because of that, kind of inexplicably, I think, Cars can also morph his body into other animals, which again kind of seemed to come out of nowhere. I don't know. It seemed kind of odd, but whatever. But he can do that. He turned his hand into a squirrel. He also grew bird wings, and he has decided that the first thing that he's going to do with his newfound perfection is to completely eradicate Joseph Joestar. And because of that, JoJo just got the hell out of Dodge. He lured Cars away, hopped into one of the German planes, and took off, and eventually came up with the plan to send Cars into a volcano. And luckily, with the help of von Stroheim, he was able to actually do that. Unfortunately, the volcano did nothing to Cars, and yeah, that was kind of the end of the episode. It was pretty crazy, and now it's JoJo and half of von Stroheim against the immortal, invincible perfection that is Cars. So, yeah. But this is it. This is the final episode of Part 2. Man, isn't that crazy? I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to get into this. I have no idea how they're going to defeat Cars, but I'm ready for it. I am definitely ready for it. So yeah, with that being said, we should go ahead and get right into the Part 2 finale. The final episode of Battle Tendency of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Here we go.
Create armor! Something like a clam or a crab.
Clams.
Bony shell.
Well, he definitely doesn't like lava, but
It's not enough.
oh crap!
Yes, that did it.
Just like that. Ah! No! God damn it! JoJo lost his hand! He's still alive! I guess von Stroheim could... The Germans could probably give him a new hand, but still...
He had the idea to create a second layer of armor, made of an unlikely substance. Mere air bubbles.
Oh.
The bubbles maintained a pocket of air between Cars' body and the lethal heat. As the outer layer burned away with each passing second,
you'd expect that from Wamu.
Worked their way outward to replace them, long before man first thought to chronicle his deeds.
Oh shit.
A group of creatures, like us but not, evolved alongside humanity.
Ooh.
The sun was lethal to them. They knew no strife and lived in peace with one another. But then, a man of great pride and ambition was born among them.
Cars.
The mask granted him unheralded power, but at a terrible, ravenous cost. To survive, he had to consume life at a dizzying rate, if left unchecked.
So he took on more of the traits of a vampire.
Is a threat. He and his sole ally took the two surviving infants and left the scene of the carnage.
AC/DC.
They set off in search of ultimate power, a journey of continents and centuries alike. And now, 10,000 years later, that power was in his hands at last.
So him and AC/DC took, presumably, Wamu and San Viento.
Hamon overdrive!
That doesn't work!
Hamon? Did you say Hamon overdrive?
Ah! Ow.
Oh, my leg is melting away!
Oh no!
This is impossible! Denial will get you nowhere, my
Oh
friend.
no!
Hamon did that!
He used his Hamon!
Itself
Not only is Hamon at my disposal,
It doesn't
it
affect
seems
him
that
anymore,
mine is
so he
hundreds
can
of
use
times
it.
more potent.
My god, that's much stronger than JoJo's!
Ugh.
It's as though he brushed his knee against the sun!
Ugh.
Let me be the first to welcome
Ugh.
you into oblivion!
Ugh.
Wait! Hamon!
Yeah. The redstone. Oh! Ah!
The Red Stone of Asia! But why did JoJo brandish it at Cars in that
Oh shit,
final
it went
moment
through his other
when
hand.
He had no idea.
Yeah!
As if
Oh,
by
great.
instinct.
Ah!
Now,
Oh,
in a
the
moment
original
devoid
theme.
of hope, it erupts!
I don't know how Stroheim gets out of that. Okay, never mind.
The force
Oh, I love using the original theme.
like nothing I've ever known.
Where are they going? Oh! Von Stroheim!
Nothing now, huh?
It's his other hand!
You're gonna say, did you plan this too, JoJo? Tell me!
Wait, that's JoJo's hand?
Scalding rocks he didn't see coming launched him even higher into the stratosphere!
The stratosphere!
I just got lucky, but thinking I outsmarted him will drive cars nuts.
At
This
that
was
moment,
all
rocks
improv.
launched by the Just then,
He's...
he was blasted into the vacuum of space!
Oh! He can't move in space! Joe!
It's over, old Speedwagon.
Smokey. Buddy?
Goodbye.
No! Not again! I don't want to lose another.
Von Stroheim made it back to the others 8 hours later, whereupon he told them this sad news.
Aww. No. Passed away. No! Joseph, not again!
I'll use air to change my trajectory. Once I'm back on solid ground, I will tear that boy apart.
It's freezing. You're freezing. It's space! Bye.
It can't change my path. I can't move.
Oh man, that sucks, man.
So ended Cars, last and greatest of the Pillar Men.
He's just fucking in space.
His body turned hard as rock, and he floated through space for the rest of time, never to return. He wished for death, but there was nothing out there to kill him.
Yeah, unless he
The
falls
spark
into a
of thought
star.
within him went dim.
Comfort those he leaves behind.
Joseph
O God,
Joestar.
and let them know
No.
peace.
Oh, Machina. Glad he's alive. Wait. Oh, fucking poor Arena.
Let's get you home.
Just a bit longer.
There's a buff man behind you.
Guess who? New hand works well. Though I've been meaning to ask
New
Stroheim
hand?
if he can jazz it up with a few gadgets or tools or whatnot.
Stroheim did give him a
Guess
new
that's
hand.
right out with us. Back off, man! I'm just trying to catch up with my family and friends.
JoJo!
Ah! You're all staring as though you've seen a ghost. I know it's a funeral and huh?
Oh. He didn't realize it was his funeral.
On there?
Don't run off in the rain like that.
Oh, he went back for Susie Q.
Take these.
Hey, that girl is Susie Q.
Wait a minute.
That ring looks like a...
Are you telling me you don't know that we got married?
You got married?
Oh my gosh, man.
It's crazy.
You got married, got a new arm before even coming back and telling them?
Susie Q. Rock I was on fell into the ocean, and me along with it. A fishing boat picked me up. So far, so good. You never sent that telegram like I asked, did you?
Oh, this is Susie Q's
I
fault.
don't really know.
To me, that sounds like no.
They sound like they have a healthy relationship.
I never sent it. I'm sorry, Dad.
Ah! Susie Q, what the hell? You had one job, woman, one job.
Oh my god.
Ah!
Soon after, Lisa, aka Elizabeth Joestar, told JoJo that she was his mother.
Oh shit, it's an epilogue.
They moved to America. In
Oh.
1948,
Look at
she
his
found
face.
love again and married a Hollywood screenwriter.
Hey, good for him. And her.
In 1950, she died peacefully at the age of 81,
Aww.
surrounded by family and friends who loved her.
Jonathan! I'm sad.
He died in 1952 of a heart attack at 89 years of age. A
Aww.
lifelong bachelor, he left no family behind.
Speedwagon.
Smokey. Later, he became the first black mayor of a city in his home state of Georgia.
Hey, good for him.
He died in 1943 at the Battle of Stalingrad. A
Huh.
fearsome example of the German science he'd always championed.
Oh my gosh.
Technology is the guide!
Oh! Jesus!
The years flowed by to a new generation.
1987.
And as for JoJo,
Hey, wait a sec. You're Japanese, aren't you?
I am. Why do you ask?
In that case, watch your damn bag!
What the?
My only daughter has been married to a Japanese man for over 20 years. Fell in love on the other side of the world and never came home again.
Aw.
Her son rarely gets to see his own grandfather. That's why I'll never forgive the Japanese.
Oh.
Then again,
So he's just an asshole.
they
I
make
mean-
some rather nifty gadgets.
Is that a Walkman? Oh my gosh. That was a roller coaster of an epilogue, so that was Old Man Joseph. He's still just a dick as ever. That was such a different epilogue from the ending of Phantom Blood. Part 2 Battle Tendency. Finn. Oh. Near the Canary Islands, 1983.
All right, it's finally time to
4 years earlier.
Oh man, could be anything.
Wait a
Come
minute.
on, let's open that bad boy.
Wait a minute! Wait just a darn second! Whoa. Wait, is that the next guy? Oh! That's it? Isn't that our next protagonist? What's his name? Jotaro or whatever? Hold on. That coffin. That was Dio's coffin. Are we? Okay, we got some things to talk about. Alrighty, that is the end of part 2. Okay. Couple things right off the bat. Number 1, so when Old Man Joseph, which that is funny to see Old Man Joseph, when he's talking about never being able to see his grandson, I assume then that is the guy at the end that we saw. I'm pretty sure that's him. I think I've seen most of the JoJo's, like what they look like. So I'm pretty sure that is, was it Jotaro, I think? Also, that coffin, I think this is sort of a John Hurt situation in Doctor Who, where, guys, I didn't expect to have to sort of talk about this, but, I think I know what, that coffin implies. And I think I've known that since before I ever started watching JoJo, so I don't think, like, anyone has spoiled me on anything. But I'm pretty sure that that coffin that looks exactly like the coffin of Dio Brando might just be something or other, we'll say. Might be something or other, and I think I think I know what that means. In 1983, that's 4 years before that epilogue with Old Man Joseph. Man, Joseph is such a bastard. He really is. Like, Such a best. That is like, it is kind of a, kind of moment when he's like, I hate the Japanese. And it's like, whoa, all right, Joseph, you need to calm down. And he's like, oh, I hate the Japanese because I never see my daughter or my grandson anymore. They always are in Japan with my son-in-law, and I haven't seen my daughter in 20 years. Like, okay, I like, that's still like, you can't blame the entire, you can't blame all the Japanese for that, you old asshole. But like, at least there's that reason. Like, it's not like, I don't know. It's like weirdly like racist and not racist, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's only specifically because he never sees his daughter anymore. Man, that's unfortunate, man. That's unfortunate, but yeah. But I'm pretty sure then that, his grandson that he refers to there, I'm pretty sure that that's the guy that we see at the end. Which, man, we get to see him in part 2. That's pretty crazy. We didn't see Joseph at the end of part 1. This was a crazy episode. Which makes sense, That makes sense. Wow. Let me turn to Owen Wilson for a moment. Wow, Hamon, wow. Here's the thing, man. I wish this episode was like another half hour long so that all of those, everything that is just said in the epilogue is just, like, we actually get scenes of that, man. Although, if I have to watch both Arena and Speedwagon die, I'm going to be crying like a baby for like 5 hours, But, like, okay, mainly what I wanted to see, the only thing that I really wanted to see that I feel like I'm sort of robbed by with the epilogue is I wanted to see Lisa tell Joseph that she's his mother. That's the only one where I'm like, I kind of wanted to see that, and I wanted to see, Joseph's reaction where he's like, oh my god, I got a hard-on to my mother, Because he was totally peeping on his mom, She found love again. She married a Hollywood screenwriter. Yeah, good for her. I'm glad she found love again. Man, good on that guy. Good on that guy, That's like inspiration to everyone, I feel like. I feel like that should be inspiration. No matter who you are, you can get an amazing woman like Elizabeth Joestar. Although I assume this guy was also a really cool guy like George Joestar II was. Of course, that's the thing. I honestly feel like... man, if kids out there need, like, good... If like, little boys need, like, good male role models... Jonathan Joestar is the perfect role model, honestly. Not Joseph. Let me put that out there, not Joseph. Joseph is a horrible role model. But Jonathan Joestar would be great. And that's the thing, is I feel like his son, George Joestar II, was... I think he really, like, lived up. Even though we barely saw him, I feel like he kind of lived up to his father. He was a true gentleman. And Joseph is not. So. Man, that was so fucking crazy. All of this, I'm not even talking about... He sent cars into space! He sent cars into space. And I love to... This is the one... I feel like this is the one and only time that Joseph has ever improvised something. And maybe that's not entirely accurate, but I don't know, like, this feels like full improv all the way, and that just shows you how amazing Joseph can be when he improvs. Oh, God. Man, oh, man. That is just crazy. He sent cars into space, and then that's it. You know, unless there's aliens out there, maybe in 100,000 years, you know, cars will be picked up, brought back, and, you know, then he can go on a rampage again. I don't know. Maybe in, like, part 12, we'll come back to cars, you know? Oh, man, oh, man. Yeah, maybe in part 12, cars will come back. Who knows? But, I mean, but he's just fucking gone. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong, San Viento is still alive, isn't he? Like, he was the only one, I'm pretty sure, that still lived. Because AC/DC died, Wamu is dead, Cars is in space, but I'm pretty sure technically San Viento is still alive. Which is weird because, you know, with AC/DC, he completely burned, you know, or what was left of him burned in the sunlight and, you know, disintegrated. But with San Viento, he, like, turned to stone, basically. But they showed that one scene where, you know, like, oh, he's, like, still feeding. He's still alive. I hope they actually, like, went back and actually killed him. Oh, man, oh, man. We got so much in this fucking episode, you know? We got so much in this episode. Oh, man. It's fucking crazy, man. It's just insanity. I'm glad Joseph isn't dead. You know, because, yeah, kind of like he said last episode, like, that kind of would just be a copy of Jonathan at that point. So I'm glad that he ended up not dying. But now that we've already seen, like, okay, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Part 3 is going to be taking place in 1987, you know, nearly 50 years after the battle with Cars. So, if it's going to take place in 1987, I'm assuming then that we're going to be following Joseph's grandson, Jotaro. So, but does that mean that Joseph will still be around? Like, that's the thing. I kind of feel like, so is Joseph still going to be a main character? Do we call both of them JoJo? How is that going to work? Maybe we'll save this for next episode, I guess, when we actually start part 3, but man, that was crazy. And again, I love that even as an old man, so he would be, what, in his 60s maybe? He was born in, well, okay, in 1987. He was born in 1920, it said. So in 1987, he'd be 67 years old. Yeah. He'd be 67 years old. So I like at the age of 67, he's still a bastard. Like, still. He's still a fucking bastard. He's still a fucking bastard, you know? Ugh. Also, interesting that clearly his mother did not teach him how to slow your aging with hormone. Clearly, Elizabeth did not teach him that because he's old. Joseph has a beard, which I like. To show the passage of time, he grew a beard. Thank you. That's how you show that a lot of time has passed in, you know, just a few scenes, is that some character has to grow a beard. But not only that, he's gray. He's gray. He has a gray beard and gray hair, I think. You know? So clearly Elizabeth did not teach him how to slow his aging. You know what would be hilarious? Is if Elizabeth was still alive in 1987, despite being born in 1989. So she would be almost 100 years old. She would be almost 100 years old in 1987. It would be hilarious if we found her, she was still alive, she looked exactly the fucking same. God, that would be hilarious. If she looked exactly the same, this 100-year-old woman still as beautiful as ever. God, that would be hilarious. You know? If she looked like she was 40 years younger than her own son. God. Man. Okay, we gotta get into the notes. Okay, the first thing I wrote down is lava and hand. So, okay, this was interesting. So, lava could have killed Cars. That's the thing. I think it could have actually killed him. The problem was he still had time, basically. So, he still had time, you know? So he tried using just a shell, but that didn't work. So then he used air, basically, which created sort of this magma crust around him, and then he was able to get out of there. So that was pretty crazy. But I do like the distinction that if that had worked, like, if he did not do that, JoJo's plan would have worked, and the lava would have killed him. Which, that's the thing, with Cars flying around in space, if he hits a star, he's out. He's just done. There's no coming back from that. If he gets stuck in a star, he's dead. Oh, shit. Okay, and we're jumping back a little bit again. I just realized at the end when they pull the coffin out of the ocean, and I just realized it says, somewhere near the Canary Islands. That is exactly where Irina was found after the explosion, where Irina and little baby Elizabeth were found. Oh my god, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, wow. Okay, sorry. Back to the lava. So that was interesting. I like the distinction that, yes, if Cars did not do the air thing, then Joseph's plan would have worked. The lava would have killed him. But he found a way out, basically. So, that was pretty cool. And yeah, he fucking cut off JoJo's hand! Joseph lost his hand, which is just insane. Of course, he loses his hand, and I'm just like, oh no, that's crazy. But then it's like, well, wait, von Stroheim's right there, and he's lost limbs. Like, he's lost his body twice now. No, 3 times. This is the 3rd time he's lost his body. He lost his organic body, then his mechanical body, and then his mechanical body again. So it's like, you know what? Von Stroheim could probably hook up Joseph with a new hand, Which is incredible that, they can make a fully functioning hand like that, in the 1930s. German science, man, it really must be the best in the world, Oh, man. So, yeah, Joseph lost his hand, which is crazy. We got the history of Cars. That was incredible. We actually got the history of Cars, which was interesting. So he was just part of a species. He was part of a species that developed underneath the earth, and they were very peaceful people. And I guess they were just stronger. Okay. Because I was trying to figure this out, like, what exactly the stone mask did for him. But, basically, it made him a vampire among his people, basically. Is that it? Like, if you put the stone mask on a human, then you become a powerful vampire, like Straight-So, like Dio. But then you have this, more advanced, stronger species. But you have this more advanced, stronger species. But if they get hit by the mask, then they become pillar men. Yeah, they are basically the vampires of their own species. Although this species always had the whole weakness to sunlight, which is interesting. So he created the stone mask, which, turned him into a vampire, gave him, that, the bloodlust, basically, the thirst for blood. And so he started killing everyone because he was just done with their shit. And they were done with his shit, so he killed them. And then he did recruit He did. That's when he recruited AC/DC, made him a Pillar Man, and then they said that the two then took 2 infants with them, after they had demolished, annihilated their species. So that would then be Wamu and San Viento, which is interesting. Man, that is crazy. We just suddenly got, like, the history of cars. I like it. I like it, though. And it's definitely interesting. And it took Cars 10,000 years before he finally achieved his goal. Problem is that in his first act, after achieving his goal and becoming a perfect being, he challenged Joseph Joestar. Oh, man, oh, man. That's so fucking crazy. So crazy. I love it, though. It's like if... it's like if in Dragon Ball, Frieza actually did, like, get immortality in Namek, and Goku had to come up with some crazy shit to beat him. Like, even at that point, it's like, well, even Super Saiyan isn't enough, because Frieza's immortal, Man. Fucking sent Cars into space! But, before that, Cars had Hamon! Cars had Hamon. Which is crazy. Cars used Hamon, which it makes sense, which I thought about it recently. Straightso, when he died, like, he had some Hamon in him from, being attacked by Joseph, but he created his own Hamon and destroyed himself. Like, at that moment, he just created his Hamon and then died, when he realized he had lost, basically. Which, that's the thing, so any vampire or Pillar Man can create Hamon. It's just that they don't, because it would kill them instantly, But that's the thing, is that it would not kill Cars at that point. So he could use Hamon, and because he is, the ultimate perfect being, it was 100 times stronger than Joseph's Hamon. And Joseph, he has some pretty strong Hamon, Joseph, who beat the other 3 Pillar Men, Granted, he beat San Viento with the help of Von Stroheim, and pretty much also with the sun. Like, he really didn't do it himself. And then AC/DC he did beat on his own, and then Wamu, he beat on his own, although Caesar could have beaten him too. He almost did if he didn't, screw up at the last second. But yeah, like, that is just insane, man. So Cars used his own Hamon, but at the last second, just on pure instinct, Joseph held up the Red Stone of Asia, and that caused such a huge eruption that it sent the rock holding Joseph and Cars, sent it into the stratosphere. And somehow, Joseph still had his other hand there and threw it. He threw his own hand at Cars to hold him there, which is ridiculous, and sent Cars into space. Which, honestly, what else could Joseph have done? I mean, unless he trapped Cars in lava. But even then, Cars had a way out of the lava. Like, yes, the lava could have killed Cars, but it would take too long. He still had a chance, So he sent him into space! He sent cars into space. Elon Musk, eat your heart out, you fucking whatever. Oh my god. Fucking JoJo did it in 1939. He sent him into space. I don't know if we ever get aliens on this show. So I don't know if there's ever going to be a possibility that I don't know if there's ever going to be a possibility that cars will return. But that would be really interesting. I don't know, because he's still the ultimate perfect being. Like, no matter what, I feel like he's always going to be, like, a huge threat, you know? No matter which JoJo it is, you know? Send him into fucking space. That's just perfect. And man, you kind of feel bad, honestly, when it's just like, you know, because he tried to, you know, reorient himself and use the air, but everything just froze over and it just froze him solid. And then he was just off. And that's it. And he's still alive. No matter what. Like, no matter what, throughout the rest of JoJo, throughout the whatever million episodes we have of this show, Cars is still alive. He will always be alive. Unless he crashes into a star. Cars will always be alive. Like, you know, we cut to 1987. Cars is still alive. He's alive. He's out there somewhere. Oh, man. It's so crazy. And then we get the death of Joseph, which, fuck you, show, for even putting, like, you know, February, whatever the fuck, 1939, death of Joseph Joestar. It's like, fuck you, you're calling back to Jonathan. Because that's what they did with Jonathan. Jonathan Joestar died February, whatever the fuck, 1889. I now decree that every time we say a date, it's the month, and then whatever the fuck, and then the year. So today is July whatever the fuck, 2020. So, fucking fuck you, show, for making me think that. Of course, Von Stroheim, I guess, just didn't wait. He didn't wait to check, you know, in case, like, something, you know, crashed back. Granted, if you're falling from the atmosphere and the only thing between you and the fire is just a rock, I don't know how Joseph didn't just burn up. That was ridiculous. Like, did he create, like, a hormone shield or something? How did he survive that? How was he not incinerated upon re-entry? I don't know. But yeah, and then we have the funeral. Man, I feel so bad for Irina. I feel so bad for Irina, you know? Granted, you know, I guess, hey, she got Elizabeth back. That's gotta mean something, but still, she lost her JoJo again! You know, even if, yeah, he came back for a while, Irina just thought, well, there goes another fucking Joestar in my life. I lost my husband, I lost my son, I lost my grandson. It's like, god damn it, I cannot... Man, Irina deserves better. I feel so bad for her. Like, of everything that happened, I feel so bad for Irina. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if she was just like, Smokey, your name is Joestar now. You're my new grandson. Do not fucking die. But, luckily for everyone, I guess, Joseph did survive. Yay! Joseph is alive. Somehow, he did not burn up on re-entry, crashed into the ocean, and was nursed back to health for 2 weeks by Susie Q. Which, to be fair, it does sort of mirror Jonathan and Irina, where after defeating Dio in episode 3, Irina did nurse Jonathan back to health. Before Baron Zeppeli fucking assaulted him and then salted his sandwiches. Who does anyone do that, by the way? Does anyone salt their sandwiches? I know it's been like 22 episodes since that happened, but does anyone salt their sandwiches? I'm very curious. Anyway. So yeah. And after 2 weeks, Joseph and Susie Q got married. Which, wow guys, way to rush into a fucking relationship. So in 2 weeks, Joseph and Susie Q got married. So does that make her Susie Joestar, or is it Susie Q Joestar? Is Q her last name? I don't know. So they get married, which they probably barely know each other. I mean, at least Jonathan and Irina dated for a while, you know? Before fucking Dio broke them up. Oh, friend. Friend. So, they got married. They just are married. And then, when Joseph realizes that Susie Q did not send any telegram saying that Joseph was still alive, he got fucking pissed. Like, I don't know if they have the healthiest relationship, honestly. But I mean, I guess it was healthy enough. They had a daughter. And then somehow the two of them were good enough parents to this. Well, I guess not. I don't know. I guess maybe they weren't good enough parents if their daughter doesn't see them anymore. Granted, I don't know if... I assume Susie Q is still alive in 87, but yeah, it's like, you know, Joseph hasn't seen his daughter for 20 years, which I do kind of feel bad about. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, they got married. Did this just start over? I don't know. Netflix is being weird. Okay, I'll just go back to browse. Netflix was being very, very weird. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing, is that, like... fucking... I don't know, so I guess... I don't know, maybe they weren't great parents. Fucking... So they clearly have a healthy relationship. And then, yeah, Susie Q just didn't send the telegram. Susie Q just didn't send the telegram, and that's why there was a funeral. And so Joseph didn't even realize, like, he wasn't, like, trying to be dramatic. Like, he wasn't trying to be dramatic, like, oh, I'll make them believe I'm dead and show up at my own funeral. It's like, no, he just went to New York looking for everyone, and then he was like, oh, they're at a funeral. All right, I'll go crash the funeral. Which, that's the other thing, too. It's like, yeah, who does he think died? Who does he think died, and he's just being some asshole showing up to a funeral? Joseph's such a fucking asshole, you know? I mean, I love him. He's our lovable asshole, but he's such an asshole, you know? So yeah, showed up to his own funeral. Which at least... Hey, at least Irina's can be happy again. She didn't actually lose Joseph. And then we got the epilogue, which is... What the fuck was in the epilogue? Elizabeth did tell Joseph that she is his mother, and they moved to New York. Well, they moved to America, she said, or the narrator said. And Elizabeth did actually go on and remarry, and married a Hollywood screenwriter. God, I wish I was that Hollywood screenwriter. Doesn't matter. No, we're just joking around here, but yeah. But good on him, good on her. She probably lived a happy life. Irina lived until 1950, it said, where she died in her 80s. Died peacefully. Man, I was gonna fucking tear up from that. Man. When it's like, oh, friggin', when it shows her, you know, just on her deathbed, and like as it scrolls past and you see, oh, it's the pictures of her and her family, and there's her fucking wedding picture with Jonathan. It's like, why do you do this? Why do you delight in torturing me? Well, she can go be with Jonathan now. This poor fucking woman. Poor Irina. And then Speedwagon died. Speedwagon died in his 80s of a heart attack. Very interesting. Dude got like karate hamon kicked in the face by Straitso, and he survived that. But you know, he has a fucking heart attack. Like, oh, great job, Speedwagon. But I mean, I guess we knew that we couldn't keep Speedwagon forever, so I feel like I need like actual funerals for Irina and Speedwagon. I can't just have these epilogues, man. You know, Speedwagon, he was there since episode 2. Irina since episode 1. It's like I need funerals for them, man. Oh man, I'm gonna fucking cry about them. What the fuck else was in the epilogue? I don't fucking know. Some other stuff. I'm trying to think. Oh, Smokey! Smokey! He went to be a mayor in Georgia. The first black mayor in Georgia. Good for you, man. Good on him. He got a college education. Probably with the Joestar money. He got a college education and went on to be a mayor. Isn't that just fucking awesome? Good for him. Good for him. I'm glad. And von Stroheim. Von Stroheim died in the Battle of Stalingrad. You know, because it is, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, what the fuck do we do with our Nazi friend? It's like, oh, he died in Stalingrad. It's like, okay, we can work with that. Like, it's not one of those, he survived and he was just a good friend after the war. It's like, he's still a fucking Nazi, but he's our weird Nazi friend, I guess. But I love when it's just like, you know, proving once again that German science was the best in the world. And just fucking 8 guns come out of his back. It's like, oh shit. Fucking von Stroheim is amazing. But that was funny. So yeah. And that's that. And then cut to 1987. 1987, man. We're catching up, man. Which means, by the way, 1987, so does that mean if part 4 is also 50 years in the future, we're going to actually, like, surpass the actual year at some point? Yeah, I don't know. Alright, but 1987. 1987, we see old man Joseph Joestar. Oh, fucking the age that Jonathan deserved to get to. But instead, we have old asshole Joseph Joestar, who does not like the Japanese, specifically because after his daughter married a Japanese man and moved to Japan, he hasn't seen his daughter in 20 years. I'm glad he, like, loudly exclaims why he doesn't like the Japanese. He's like, you know, he's like, oh, you're Japanese! And he kicks that guy in the shin, and it's like, by the way, it's not because I'm specifically racist, it's because of my daughter, don't worry. It's like, okay. It's still kind of like, alright, old man. But I like, too, that he just gets out a Walkman and then starts listening to the song. He starts listening to Bloody Stream, which is hilarious. But then, cut back to 1983, where near the Canary Islands, they fish out a coffin. Oh. And we thought there would be a dead person in there. But it was me, Dio! I guess we don't know that. It looks like Dio's coffin. But did he have two? Did he have two coffins? And is he just a head in there? Shit, I hope he's just a head. Shit, I guess I don't know. Does he like and again, we'll talk about this more like once we get there in part 3, but shit, I hope he's just a head. Oh, that'll be distressing if he's not just a head. But yeah, this is definitely a John Hurt showing up in Doctor Who situation where it's like, yeah, I pretty much knew, you know, I'm pretty sure like before I ever started watching this show, it was like described to me as like I heard it was like, oh, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the generational struggle against Dio Brando, and it's like, what the fuck? So then I watched the first episode and it's like, what the fuck? Teenage drama? What the fuck is happening? But vampires, that thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he survived. He was getting bear hugged by a dead Jonathan Joestar when the ship exploded. So I don't know how he survived. So, but yeah. I guess we don't know. Per se. But yeah. It is one of those things where it's like, yeah, fucking, I wish I didn't know that. Because that'd be such a reveal that fucking Dio may be back. We don't know. They just pulled a coffin out. They could have just, like, thrown the coffin back into the water after they saved Irina and Elizabeth. It could just be fucking that. That'd be funny. Like, they're doing this great tease, like, oh, what if Dio's back? And it's like, no, he's not. And then, at the very, very end, we get a look at a man who looks like he is in a prison cell. And I believe that is our next protagonist. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. That's the end of part 2. That is the end of Battle Tendency. And what a fucking part it was. Okay. If we're gonna just say which do I like better, part 1 or part 2, that's very tricky. It's very tricky because part 2 is a lot like Joseph, where I love him, but I think I still technically love Jonathan more. And I think technically I love part 1 more, but part 2 is a very, very close second, if we can say that. So yeah, that's pretty much that. That is the end of part 2, Battle Tendency. We have finished 2 parts so far of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I believe part 3 is like 49 fucking episodes or something, so strap yourselves in for that. That's going to be fun. But yes, next time we will begin part 3. So with that all being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3, Stardust Crusaders. See you guys then. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.